Alright, so first let's talk about how humans can be affected by excess nitrogen. So as you can see, there's a bunch of different effects that come along with this. So we're only going to look at a couple. So one major effect is how nitrite in the atmosphere is going to affect humans. So how does this happen? We see that there are nitrifying bacteria inside the soil here, these purple dots right here, and they're converting NO3- into NO2-, aka nitrite. And so if this nitrite gets into the atmosphere, it can interact with the air and stick around for a while. And if this NO2- sticks around in the air for a while, and people come along and they're just outside doing their thing, not worrying about anything, they won't know that this NO2- is in the atmosphere because it's colorless and odorless, so they won't even know. But if the dosage is high enough, we can see that it can cause serious illness and even death. So this person has the highest dosage, so they aren't going to live. And then if we go down a little bit, this person only has a minor dosage, a smaller one right here. So maybe they're only going to get asthma. And then even a smaller dosage, maybe they're just going to get a small rash. Because remember, the higher the dosage, there are greater health effects. Alright, so let's move on to how excess nitrogen is going to affect animals. Beginning with terrestrial animals, we're going to talk in terms of nitrate and also nitrite. Alright, so I have a drawing here, and let's just run through it. So you have crops over here with a high nitrogen concentration, and then grass over here with a low one. And so let's see how nitrogen can get from over here to over here. So say we were to have rain or something, some of this nitrogen that is just in the crops that doesn't get taken up by the plants is able to run off the surface and can be transferred over into this grass where we don't want it. Okay, so then this grass can now have a high nitrogen concentration in terms of nitrate and also nitrite, which can have harmful effects on the animal. So we see that if this grass has high nitrogen concentration and the cow eats the grass, if he continues to eat it, he's also increasing his body nitrogen concentration, right? So there's a couple things that can happen. First, they can just die just from the high nitrogen concentration in their body. But also, it can suffocate them. So let's move on to oxygen, how this can affect oxygen transport via insufficient. Alright, so this is how insufficient oxygen transport happens. So we have a red blood cell right here. And if we zoom in, it has lots of hemoglobin within it to help transport oxygen. So in a normal case scenario where there is lots of oxygen present, we see that oxygen will bind to the active site within this hemoglobin. So when this binding happens, a person is able to breathe and they are very happy. Okay? But let's talk about in the chance of high nitrogen concentration. So we see that here's our hemoglobin again, and we see that there's lots of tiny little nitrogen or nitrate or nitrite in the system here, and it's overpowering the oxygen. And since this substrate is the same general shape as the oxygen, it is also able to bind to the hemoglobin. But this binding inhibits any oxygen transport, causing the person to suffocate. So then here, if we increase the nitrogen concentration even higher, you're going to get even less oxygen transport. So again, the dosage determines how badly this affects the person. And so now we're going to move on to marine animals and how nitrogen will affect them. So recent evidence suggests that arthropods can be affected in terms of secreting their reproductive hormones